Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being with us, the media. So always good to see your faces. And we are very grateful that you responded quickly to the call of all of us, the Arab group, the OIC, and other friends, and of course the State of Palestine for this press conference. Of course, the reason why we are calling for this conference because the situation is extremely deteriorating in the occupied Palestinian territory and extremely dangerous, whether in the occupied West Bank, East Jerusalem, or the Gaza Strip, or in the whole general region. And because of that, we felt that we cannot continue waiting as it relates to the question of Palestine until things to be sorted out in the region. The war in the Gulf region and also what's happening in Lebanon and the aggression against them. If we keep waiting, then this extreme Israeli government will sneak in under the smoke of the war and try, to make decisive changes in the occupied Palestinian territory through annexation, destructions of the hope of the two-state solution, and making the miserable situation in the Gaza Strip to even more miserable situation. So that's why we sent a letter at the beginning of the week, and one of my colleagues, if you wish, if you haven't seen the letter, we will be more than happy to give it to you, in which we listed the violations and the danger, the dangerous situation in the West Bank, starting from the great possibility of the implementation of E1 plan. That plan is extremely dangerous in a sense that it wants to connect through more settlements building and expanding settlements, connecting East Jerusalem with E1 settlements and connecting with the Khan al-Ahmar and through the Jordan Valley, reaching the Jordan River, meaning dividing the north and the south of the West Bank. And if you also think of Gaza, they occupying 53% of the land, expanded to 60% of the land, and Netanyahu is also saying we want to expand to 70% of the land. So occupying 70%, dividing north and south of the West Bank, then in essence, Smotrich, Netanyahu, and Ben Gvir, who are saying we are going to destroy the two-state solution, are taking practical step in this connection. You add to it the terrorism of the settlers, the invoking of the land registration to open it for Jews in the occupied Palestinian territory, which is illegal, and also the release of the listing of Israel and with the specific documentation as it relates to sexual violence against Palestinian prisoners, including girls and women. And everybody is saying we have the evidence regarding to that, but Netanyahu wants to shield those who are committing these crimes and attacking the Secretary General, and we salute him for the listing, attacking the civil society organization, the international organization, all those who have the evidence. Instead of taking those who commit these crimes to court, he is shielding and protecting them. I'm just giving you some of the elements that are in the letter that we sent to the Security Council. We are grateful to Libya and Somalia, the Arab representative in the Security Council, when we asked them that the Security Council cannot remain silent. It should act. And as we are meeting in front of you, they are having informal consultation in the content of our letter and other documents, the UN documents and other agencies' documents about all these crimes. We are saying that these crimes should be stopped. These illegal policies and practices should be, condemned, and Israel should be held accountable, and those who committed the crimes of sexual violence should face justice, and it should not be tolerated. We want the Security Council as the main organ of the UN in charge of the maintenance of international peace and security to act, to shoulder its responsibility, to stop these crimes, and I hope those who are meeting inside to act on the basis of many things, including international law, including the plan, the 20-point plan of President Trump, and Security Council Resolution 2803 that says, among other things, no to annexation, no to occupation, no to the continuation of the situation. You cannot just say that, and Israel is not listening to anyone without consequences. We want consequences, and we want the Security Council to act. We are grateful for almost every member of the Security Council that endorsed our request through, the Arab representative. It is so unique that 5 members of the European countries endorsed the call, along with China and Russia and everybody else. This is a unique moment, and this is also a sign that on our issue, still the Security Council is united and they want action. We are grateful to them. I'm grateful, to my colleagues and brothers, Brother Abdullah, who is the chair of the Arab group for this month. We had a meeting yesterday. They endorsed this call. They called for this press conference, and they authorized my brother Abdullah to give a statement on behalf of the other, Abdulaziz Al-Wasil, to give a statement on behalf of the Arab group, which he will. And also, we had consultation with the chairman of the OIC group, Ambassador Ahmad, and his deputy will be here to deliver a statement on behalf of the OIC. And you see that there is a massive support for Palestine in spite of everything. The war in the Gulf cannot continue to steal away the attention of the international community for justice for the Palestinian people, and we cannot remain silent. We have to do our duty here at the UN. We are ambassadors at the UN. It is our job to work with the Security Council, the General Assembly, the Secretary General, that Palestine cannot continue to wait on the margin. Justice has to prevail. This illegal occupation has to end, and freedom and independence of the state of Palestine should take place as quickly as possible. We thank you for being with us, and I give the floor to my brother, Abdulaziz Al-Wasil. You have the floor, my brother.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. Let me start by thanking Dr. Riyad for the introduction, and now I will read the statement on behalf of the Arab group. The Arab group expresses its deep alarm at the rapidly escalating situation in the occupied Palestinian territory, where Israel continues to implement policies that amount to accelerated annexation and the systematic dismantling of the Palestinian rights. The group stresses that Israel's recent measures are not isolated incidents, but rather part of a coordinated strategy to entrench permanent control over the Palestinian land, alter the demographic and geographic reality on the ground, and eliminate the possibility of the independence of the state of Palestine as a sovereign, viable, and contiguous states in accordance with the relevant United Nations resolution. In this regard, the dangerous steps taken by the Israeli government to advance the E1 plan constitute an existential threat to Palestinian independence and to the prospects for just and lasting peace, and must be immediately reversed. The Arab group rejects all measures aimed at altering the demographic composition, character and the status of the Palestinian territory occupied since 1967, including East Jerusalem, including inter alia, the construction and the expansion of settlements, and the forced displacement of Palestinian civilians in violation of international law and Security Council resolutions, including Resolution 2334 of 2016. The group also warns against the ongoing attacks on the historic and legal status quo, particularly with regard to Al-Haram al-Sharif. We also condemn Israel's unilateral measures targeting UNRWA and its decision to establish military facilities in the UNRWA compound in East Jerusalem, a move that yet another manifestation of its continued violation of the agency's UN privileges and immunities. Arab Group recalls the conclusion of the International Court of Justice that, quote, the sustained abuse by Israel of its position as an occupying power through annexation and assertion of permanent control over occupied Palestinian territory and continued frustration of the rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination violates fundamental principles of international law and renders Israel's presence in the occupied Palestinian territory unlawful, end quote. We remind third parties of their obligations under the UN Charter, relevant United Nations resolutions and international law, including the prohibition of acquisition of territory by force. These obligations include non-recognition, non-assistance, and distinction, as well as the duty to ensure that any impediments resulting from Israel's illegal presence in the occupied Palestinian territory to the exercise by the Palestinian people of their rights to self-determination is brought to an end. In Gaza, the Arab Group underscores that the expansion of Israeli military control, ongoing assault, and deliberate restrictions of humanitarian access have created a grave and terrible humanitarian emergency. Civilians continue to suffer the consequences of policies that deprive them of protection, essential services, and the most basic necessities of life. They stress the need for full respect of the principles reflected in Resolution 2803, including with regard to the ceasefire, humanitarian access, the prohibition of occupation and annexation, and the rejection of any displacements of Palestinian people. The Arab unequivocally denounces Israel's annexationist policy and insists that such violations demand immediate international rejection and meaningful consequences. The Arab Group urges the Security Council and the international community to take decisive decision to immediately halt and reverse annexation-related activities, end settlement expansion, cease the forced displacement of Palestinians, put an end to all ongoing illegal measures through the occupied Palestinian territory, and ensure accountability in accordance with international law. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Abdulaziz, for that statement of the Arab Group. And as I said before, the Security Council is meeting. I'm delighted that my brother, the ambassador of Pakistan, who was supposed to be inside, he's outside, he is everywhere. He's with us, and we thank you, and also the other representatives of the Security Council inside, including my brother from Bahrain and others, because somebody told me that maybe I confused Bahrain with Libya. Forgive me for that mistake. Of course, Libya you're okay with that. And allow me now to give the floor to my sister, the Deputy Ambassador of Turkey, to speak on behalf of the OIC. You have the floor.
Esteemed members of the press, we thank you for being here. Minister Mansour, Ambassador Abdulaziz, we thank you for your remarks. And to complement their remarks, I have the honor to make the following press statement on behalf of the OIC New York Group. The OIC wishes to draw the Security Council's urgent attention to Israelis' continued efforts to accelerate the annexation of the occupied Palestinian territory in clear violation of international law. These include the expansion of settlement plans in the E1 area, jeopardizing the territorial unity and integrity of the occupied Palestinian territory by fragmenting the West Bank and severing East Jerusalem from its Palestinian environment. Measures relating to land registration and property rights, land expropriation, and seizure of sites of religious, cultural, and historical significance. Continued excursions by extremist Israeli settlers into Al-Aqsa Mosque and Al-Haram al-Sharif, forcible displacement of Palestinians accelerated by restrictions on movement, recurrent military incursions, land confiscation, the demolition of homes, agricultural lands, and olive groves, and escalating settler violence. The approval of a military compound on the site of the unlawfully seized and demolished UNRWA headquarters in occupied East Jerusalem in violation of United Nations privileges and immunities. Furthermore, in Gaza, the continued expansion of Israeli control, ongoing military operations, and restrictions on humanitarian assistance continue to inflict immense suffering on the Palestinian civilian population. The OIC Group condemns in the strongest terms Israel's attempts to entrench its illegal occupation and annexation of Palestinian territory. These actions constitute flagrant violations of international law, relevant Security Council and General Assembly resolutions. The Fourth Geneva Convention, ICJ advisory opinions and orders, the historical and legal status quo at the holy sites in occupied East Jerusalem. The OIC Group calls on the Security Council and all states to take urgent and effective measures to halt all annexation activities, settlement expansion, forcible displacement, the other unlawful practices in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, and to ensure accountability in accordance with international law. We thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and we will keep you informed of exactly what is going on inside, what the Security Council will do, and what other steps that we will take, and we will do whatever it takes in order, to put an end to this tragedy of the Palestinian people.
How sure are you that the Security Council will do something? Because from our experience throughout the years, any decisions that does not benefit Israel and protect it, it collides with the veto power inside the council, and we are no better off today than we had been like 20 years ago. What are the steps can be taken? And I know the answer more or less to this. What can we do to avoid this trap of the Security Council and the veto power?
Well, thank you, Brother Talar, for asking this question. We will not allow the Security Council to run away from its responsibility. They have a mandate given to them by the Charter of the UN to maintain international peace and security. And what is happening in our region, what is happening in Palestine is a threat to international peace and security, and they have to elevate themselves to the level of addressing this issue. That's number one. Number two, they adopted Resolution 2803, which it said, among other things, that no to annexation, no to occupation, and also the whole process that should lead for self-determination and statehood for the Palestinian people. They all agreed. And it was introduced initially by the United States of America, and nobody voted against it in the Security Council. We want the Security Council to honor and respect its resolutions, all of them, including this one, including 2334, and many other resolutions. So we will keep knocking on their door. In addition to that, the fact that we are talking to you and through you to the whole world of the position of the Arab countries, the OIC countries, and others who are with us from other groups is an indication that the position of the international community is crystal clear and is in line with international law and in line with the principles enshrined in the Charter of the UN. So it is your duty to help us, and through your outfits, tell the whole world that we are for peace, we are for justice, we are for putting an end to the war, we are for resolving these issues through peaceful method, as the Charter tells us. And I believe the great majority of nations and people, they don't want wars. They want to see peace, and they want to see the end of the tragedy of the Palestinian people. We cannot be left behind. This illegal occupation has to end. We need to enjoy freedom and dignity in our homeland. They want to kick us away from our land. Look at our people in Gaza. They endured that no person can endure, but yet they are refusing to leave the homeland. We have no homeland except Palestine, including the precious part of it, which is Gaza, including the jewel on top of the crown, which is Jerusalem and the Holy Land and the holy sites in Jerusalem. And we are grateful for the 8 ministers, the Arabs and the Muslims, who issued a statement against the desecration of Al-Aqsa Mosque and Al-Haram al-Sharif and all of the things that extremists like Smotrich and Ben Gvir are doing in order to usurp such important holy sites from us, and the custodianship of Jordan in this regard. So we appreciate all these things, but we need to keep telling our story. And there is a shift of public opinion in here and in Europe, but we need that shift, including in the UN, to be translated into action, to stop the crimes, to stop the annexation, to stop the occupation, to stop violating our rights, to withdraw from Gaza, to withdraw from the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and to allow for the two-state solution to become a reality. We are not going to go away from that path, and we are grateful for everyone who is with us, and it is almost everyone. That is the obvious reality. Let us see it being implemented.
Mr. Ambassador, what has been the United States' reaction to this new initiative?
We just keep repeating what President Trump said. No annexation. We know that he told Netanyahu, including recently, stop the nonsense in Lebanon, stop the craziness, you are not allowed to annex the land. I know that President Trump is capable and he has the tools to stop Netanyahu in his tracks in order not to keep the whole region in turmoil and wars and occupation, and to move in the direction of peace and justice. That is why the majority of us are working with them, and the majority of us, including the 8 Arab and Muslim states, supported also by Palestine, and the Security Council, through not rejecting Security Council Resolution 2803, we are all doing our duty. We need others, including the US administration, to stop Israel from continuing to do the things that it is doing to all of us. What we want is peace, and what we want is the essence of what was proposed to us, and we accept it. And one day, that is going to happen. We are not going to be the exception to the rule. If it happened in South Africa to put an end to apartheid. It is going to happen in Palestine to put an end to apartheid, to occupation, to discrimination, and for the Palestinian people to have their own freedom and dignity, and the two-state solution to become a reality. I think we thank you, if I can speak on behalf of everyone, and we will continue the conversation with you. Please tell our story. If you need copies of our letter, please, Laureen, could you please give those who want copies of the document? Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues.